Today, we have Scott Haley with Airespring to discuss global connectivity, communications, and security solutions.
So this is what we call the Airspring Advantage. I don't know if most of you may know or you may not know, but we have an extremely wide portfolio. So we do everything from managed connectivity anywhere in the world to managed SASE, SD-WAN, network security, cloud voice communications. We can actually do voice in 55 countries. Globally, we actually can provide internet and data in 190 plus countries. And then we have a full business enterprise mobile phone service as well. So there's a whole lot of things that we do. And so Robert's quote kind of stood out to me a little bit because what it allows you guys to do is to not have to manage 4 or 5 different providers for a single customer. You can have Airspring manage most of what they're looking for. So it creates simplicity for you guys. It also creates a lot of simplicity for the customer, obviously. You don't have vendor sprawl. They have one number to call. Just makes a big difference. So we're going to talk about today, we've got a unified platform that integrates all those services into one pane of glass. I'll show you what that looks like. Air Control is that one pane of glass. It's a IT service management platform, AI driven. It's built in-house, so it's our own proprietary platform. Tell you about our service delivery and support services, especially for mid-enterprise customers, and then our global reach. And then we've always talked about one accountable provider. So these are our superpowers. We've got 3 of them. One, global managed network services in 190 countries, literally. So we've got 265 plus direct carrier agreements. We have 3,000 local providers globally that can actually integrate services. So we're not just going to an aggregator and getting pricing for international services. We are an international aggregator ourselves. So we handle everything, including all the logistics down to shipping, service delivery, everything. And then Air Control, I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. It's our ITSM platform. And then while we still do SMB just like everybody else, we really are helping partners win in the mid-enterprise space. And for us, mid-enterprise, it's that $10,000 a month to the $100,000 a month customer is mid-enterprise for us. And so we have special complex order service delivery teams just for those type customers. And then we also have dedicated tier 3 engineer pods for those customers. It's called a platinum customer. Any customer that bills more than $10,000 a month with us is automatically a platinum customer. The smattering of all the carriers we do business with all over the globe. I won't bore you with that. We don't just do internet globally. We actually operate a private global backbone as well with 85 points of presence globally, very heavy in the major European markets and the Asia Pac market. And so we've got 5 nines SLA time on that in 190 different countries. On-site technicians, it says anytime, anywhere, worldwide. Really, we technically can do field services in 130 countries, including high clearance DoD work, which we do. Global hardware design, configurations, and deployment. Like I said, we're not just giving pricing out. We're managing the entire process, A to Z. Global tier 3 support. So we actually provide customer support as the sun sets globally. And then multilingual support. I think we right now can provide support in 26 different languages, and that just kind of expands as needed. So this is our picture of our Air Control, which is our IT service management platform. I'm going to do something to see if this works. I'm going to pull this over here. Can you see what I just pulled over? Someone let me know. You may not be able to on a slideshow like this. Anybody hear me?
I think if you just increase the size of the
Well, I can do that. Can you see that?
Yes, we can see that.
Okay, what I just increased. All right.
Yeah.
So this is actually a demo of our Air Control platform. This is a live platform. Everything is API driven. It's real-time data that comes in. Every customer gets Air Control, whether they're one site and one circuit or 5,000 sites, 5,000 circuits. And it's not just circuits. It's any service they have with us flows into this IT service management platform. It's been a real key in helping partners to win those mid-enterprise to enterprise customers because IT departments just love it. So in this one, for example, there's 52 locations for this customer. You can see real quick all their locations anywhere. I'm not going to take time because have a real time constriction here on this, but I can click down on any one of these. It'll tell me everything that's there, what services are, everything, the health of those services. I can click on analytics and it'll give me analytics for any location or the network as a whole, and everything is exportable. So they can export all this data out. If they've got their own BI platform that they want to, they can drop it in there or they can look at it here. They can actually pull up support cases. So anything that's it's got a trouble ticket, they can search it by open tickets, closed tickets, date ranges, whatever they want to do. And it literally, if you click on a location, it will show timestamps of everything that's happening in the NOC while that's happening with the trouble ticket. And it's two-way, so a customer can actually add notes into this and talk to the NOC as it's going live. It's pretty cool. And then if something's not happening to the customer satisfaction, then they can escalate it themselves. Just click right here and it starts escalating immediately. They don't have to wait to get permission. Billing, every bill they've ever received will be right here. Again, all of that is exportable if they want to. Also, they can pay their bill here. They can create a billing inquiry if they have one. It's a full information data. Orders, this is service delivery. So anytime something that's in process, and it'll actually, if it's completed or in progress, it'll tell you here, but you can click on anything and it shows you real quick, just at a high level, what's happening here. The dates that it was ordered, the circuit was ordered with the underlying carrier, the design was done, the install completed, and so forth. Okay. Services, this is like an inventory for the customer, itemized by location. And it literally, if you click on any location, it will tell you every service of Airespring service that's there. And it tells you the contract start date, the end date, and the term. So it's great information. And the neat thing about this is any partner that gets an LOA from their customer, they can look into their customer's portal as well and see all this data. So it's really good stuff. Lastly, or second to the last, is documents. This is a repository for the customer. Any document they've ever been sent or signed is right here for them. Obviously, they can export it and keep soft copies themselves, but it's all here for them so they don't have to hunt it down. And then lastly is a resource page. This tells them who the solutions engineer was that helped design the network up front. And then every customer, no matter what size the order, gets a managed service engineer and a project manager assigned to it, even if it's one circuit at one location. So that tells them who the MSC and the project manager is. And then once everything is delivered and turned up and tested, then it goes to the customer success manager, which is account management, and it tells them who their customer success manager is. So pretty cool stuff. I think most of you have seen our escalation list. So every department is listed here, and it goes all the way to the CEO of the company. Okay, I don't know anybody else that does this. This is a public document. You can actually download it from our public website. We want to, one, it holds us accountable, but two, it enables the customer and or the partner to actually start escalating things themselves. You don't have to wait or ask, can you escalate this? If level 1 is not satisfactory for some reason, then you go to level 2. And that's the customer service manager's name. That's true emails, true phone numbers, all the way again down to the CEO of the company. So pretty good stuff. Now I'm going to pull that out of there and go back to this screen. Hopefully you can see that.
Oh, yep, we can see it just fine.
Okay. We do have full AI integration that we've implemented into the air control platform. And some of the neat things that does as well, one, it automates trouble tickets. So for example, we're very proactive. We monitor everything in the world, no matter what it is. So I think last year, 93% of trouble tickets were proactively opened by us, not the customer. So we normally know if there's an issue going on with a service before the customer does. But some other kind of cool things it does is we actually monitor the national power grid. And so that's important when you have a trouble. If you got alarms going off on a circuit or a circuit's down, it's good to know, one, does the building have power? Not just the devices, but the building itself. Because if the building doesn't have power, there's no point in anybody spending hours of time trying to bring a circuit back up if the power's down. We also monitor the weather. That's important because think of this, you're got a location in Miami, it's September 15th, you got a circuit and alarms are going off on it, it's unhealthy. We can see, oh, there's a hurricane happening and it's going over Central Florida or Southern Florida right now. Again, just good information to know when you're trying to troubleshoot. And then we monitor every carrier that we have globally, including all the endpoints. And then we provide syslog and security event data that also, again, is exportable to the IT departments. Let's skip through that. We serve customers of all sizes. Like I've said before, we've got thousands of one location, one service customers, and then we have hundreds and hundreds of customers that have 10, 20, 30, 100, 5,000 locations. So, BAM, Books A Million's the second largest bookseller in the country. That's one of our customers. CNA, they're the seventh largest insurance company in the world. They've got 90 locations with us globally. So I could go on and on. We won't spend too much time on it, but you'll get a copy of this deck. So we do everything called day zero, day one, and day two. So day zero is the design. That's the pre-sales. So we've got fully certified solution engineers that are really strong that will help customers design their network. Obviously, the larger the customer, the more valuable that is. But even smaller customers with one or two locations, they may need some type of design, especially if they're doing primary and backup connectivity and some type of SASE or SD-WAN. And then day one is deployment. So we've got regular service delivery that's very good and very effective. However, those platinum customers, again, any customer that bills $10,000 a month or more, they have specialized large complex order teams that are just do those type service delivery. So they're specialized in it. And then the last is support, day two. Like I've mentioned to you, we monitor everything in the world. The neat thing about platinum customers is they bypass tier one and tier two support. They go directly to tier three engineers in the NOC. So they get a specialized level of customer support. So, and just holler at me if we're getting close on time. I think we're good. I'm showing just 11:45 right now, but this is an
Yeah,
example.
you're doing great. Thank you.
Okay. We're not going to sit and read all of this, but I want you to see the high points just to kind of think about some applications. So this is a nationwide fast food chain. They've got this franchisee has 130 franchise locations. Have a bunch of industry in the fast food or any industry where there's multi-location like that. The biggest challenges they have is they tend to have 10, 20, 30 different providers because they're usually spread out all over the country. And then they don't have any technical people at the location. It's usually like an assistant manager or a manager if you're lucky. So if you start having technology issues, whether it's phone service is down or internet is down or the POS isn't working, those kind of things, they don't know who to call. And so with us, because we handle everything, it's just one number to call. So you just tell every location knows if you have any kind of technology issue, voice data, internet, security, you call this number. They'll take care of it. So it just simplifies everything. And then you can see right here, I've showed you the stack solutions. The reason why this is important is what we started off with. A customer doesn't have to have 4 different providers or one for each of these. We handle all of this. And then obviously for the partner, the same advantage. They don't have to deal with 3 or 4 different providers trying to figure out who's is what or finger pointing. This is all us. So decent size order, $26,000 a month customer. This is another customer. This is a customer that we solved a solution for using Cato. We're one of Cato's, in fact, I think in 2025, we were Cato's largest reseller, do a huge amount of Cato business. It's the best SASE platform out there, in our opinion. We also do Fortinet SASE, and Fortinet's good, but Cato is really top of the line. It's a really great product. 100-year-old global automotive company, 31 domestic and international locations. So they had the same issue. They had a bunch of different providers, bunch of different bills coming in. We brought everything and centralized it for them. So we brought in Cato, we brought in diverse networks. So we brought in DIA fiber for the primary and then broadband for the secondary. And because we're using Cato as a SASE, we could have used SASE or SD-WAN, either one for any of them. You're actually aggregating that bandwidth. So you don't just have your backup circuit sitting idle that you're paying for. You're actually utilizing all the bandwidth from both circuits all the time. Another one, National Financial Services Company. This is a relatively new company for us. We just brought them on early December of 2025. 200 plus locations, good size account. It's $244,000 a month. I think it's already jumped up to about $270 a month. Full full thing. We did primary and backup circuits at every single location, installed Cato at every single location, and then we used our 8x8 wholesale agreement to bring in UCAS solution. And then they had POTS as well, and we brought in UMA for the POTS replacement and for alarm panels, elevators, those kind of things. So managed at 8x8, just so you know, we have two UCAS platforms. We own Meta switches, and so we have switches in New York that are and LA that are geo redundant. Metaswitch is fantastic. It's a great voice platform, but some of our larger customers wanted a platform that has some more integrations into specialized networks, CRMs, things like that. So that's why we also have a wholesale agreement with 8x8 as well. So we use their platform. It's us, just like if we were using AT&T for a circuit, customer doesn't call 8x8. They call us. It's our NOC. We manage the install, manage the entire account, but we don't hide that it's the 8x8 platform. And then as you can see, the same thing, stacking services. So it increases the wallet share for the partner and simplicity for the customer. So I mentioned part of our services is enterprise managed mobility. I would really, really encourage you to take a look at this and offer managed mobility to your customers. It is a huge differentiator, and most partners just don't ever think to mention it, or they're scared of it because they just don't understand mobility. Let us handle everything. We'll do. All you got to do is make the introduction. That's it. But we are booming with our mobility business. What we're seeing is, for a while there, most companies were going BYOD, bring your own device, and they just pay the employees some type of stipend if they wanted to for that. However, what we're seeing in larger customers is they're now going back to corporate liable devices. And one of the reasons for that is because of cyber insurance. Every customer nowadays, especially if they're a customer of any size at all, they have to have cyber insurance. And most cyber insurance companies will not insure the policy if you're doing BYOD, especially BYOD phones without any type of MDM security on it. So we're seeing a lot of companies now shifting back, and it's just been a booming business. We've done, I mean, just in the last 3-4 months, we've done 4 or 5 $7,000 to $15,000 a month customers, a $38,000 customer, a $60,000 a month customer. In fact, I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. And we do everything. They can keep their existing devices, and we'll optimize the plans for them and put MDM security software on there for them. They can source devices through us, all their devices. The neat thing about it too is we actually warehouse all that information. So in other words, if they've got 500 devices and an employee leaves, either gets fired or leaves on their own, they can send us that device. We'll take it and we'll actually clean it, refurbish it, put it in our warehouse. And when they hire a new employee, instead of having to buy a whole new device, we'll prepare that device with everything they want on it and ship it to the new employee ready to go. All they got to do is turn it on. So it's some pretty cool stuff that we're able to do with that. So here's an example I was telling you. This is a decent sized win. I think we won this last November. 1,700 line account. They're billing $60,000 a month with us, and that's on top of we saved them $35,000 a month in cost. So in other words, we saved them $270,000 a year on this account. And so what we did is they had everything on one carrier. What we did is we put in multi-carrier SIMs so that the phone can work on voice and data, Verizon or AT&T anywhere in the country. So it's whoever's got the strongest signal. We provide, if it's just data only, we can do all 3 major networks, including T-Mobile. Going to bring on T-Mobile Voice this next year. We're in the middle of negotiating that contract right now. Remember when I told you about warehousing too? The other thing that we find when we examine the bills when we're first starting off, it's not just about reducing their actual monthly MRC per device, which we do, but it's also we'll find a huge number of phones or tablets, anything with a SIM in it, that are sitting in drawers somewhere that are actually being billed and paid for every month that have no usage on them at all for months and months and months. So when we examine bills and go in and look into their system, we can actually identify devices that have no usage for 2, 3, 5, 6, 12 months on those. And so we know those are just sitting somewhere. but they're being paid for and not used. So we bring all that back in-house. So that's another part of the savings that we offer. Won't go through that again. We've already talked about that. So kind of second to the last slide, just a reminder, this kind of outlines for you all the services that we do. So like I said, we do almost everything except data center and colo and really big CCAS. We can do CCAS using 8x8 CCAS platform, and it's great. But typically, if a customer's 300 plus seats or more, they're typically going to go with a CCAS direct provider like a Five9s or a TalkDesk or a Nice in Contact, somebody like that that specializes in that, and that's fine. But we handle just about anything else for a customer. Again, we simplify everything for a customer, all the complexity, and bring it in-house. One number to call, one contract globally. And last but not least, we've got great spiffs. Everybody's got good spiffs, but we've got good spiffs. One thing, just to remind everybody, we actually pay spiffs on renewals, and we don't know any carrier that does that. We figure if the partner's happy, the customer's happy, and we're happy, why shop around just to get a spiff? And so keep everything in place, and we'll pay you a spiff on it, just like it's a new order. And then this right here is the Q3 promo. So this is for all of Q3. So for every $1,000 of MRC revenue that a partner submits to us, they are put in at one entry for a drawing, so to speak. So if they put in $3,000 in the quarter, it's three. They got three chances of winning. But whoever wins, they're getting an all expense paid trip to Marbella, Spain. So that's the quarterly promo. And then this right here is just all our monthly spiffs done by service. So I've got a lot of good spiffs. Again, I'll send you a copy of this deck so you'll have all the information. All right, I'm going to stop right there.
Great. Our first question is can you walk us through the merger and who will be in charge afterwards?
Absolutely. So I want to clarify something for people. There's been some confusion. So neither company is buying each other, just so everybody knows. What's happening is Charles Bank Capital has come in separately and is buying Airespring and is buying Spectratel from Grain Capital, who owns Spectratel right now. So once those are both closed, then Charles Bank is going to bring the two companies together and are actually going to form a brand new company. So it's going to be a whole new entity. We expect that to happen sometime between September and November. We just have to wait for regulatory approval for those two separate things to close. Right now, the CEO of the company is going to be Ross Sartelli, who's the current CEO of Spectratel. The COO, Chief Operating Officer, is going to be Russ Shipley, who's our COO. The Lonsteins are going to remain significant minority owners in the new company, but they're not going to be in the operation of the company, but they are going to be significant owners in the company. And then Grain Capital, which owns Spectratel right now, is going to be a minority owner as well. But Charles Bank Capital will be the majority owner of the new company once it starts. Kind of important for you guys and customers. No customer-facing employees are leaving the company unless they decide to on their own. Every customer-facing role is maintained. What was kind of unique when the due diligence was done on this is we actually only have, between the two companies, approximately a 20% crossover of partners that we work with, which was really surprising to everybody because there's some strong similarities in the company. But so we don't have a lot of agent crossover. That was kind of neat. And the same thing with the top major TSDs. Our strengths and their strengths were very different. So we think that's going to be a really good thing. The other things that were a benefit is this. Spectratel, their strength on the connectivity side is actually in broadband services. They do some large multi-location retail, which typically uses broadband, and they're really good at that, and they have good pricing on that. About 70% of their customers on connectivity are on broadband. Ours is primarily DIA. We sell a huge amount of DIA internet. In fact, 75% plus of our customers, connectivity customers, have at least DIA in addition to a backup circuit. So bringing those two together, we think actually just, again, makes for a stronger company. So the other kind of unique thing about this or not unique, but point that needs to be made is a lot of times when a PE firm comes in and buys a company, they do so and they start stripping it down to get cost down as quickly as they can. They start laying off employees because their goal is to get profits up as high as they can and then sell it. That's not the case here. These two companies are both profitable and debt-free. Well, Spectratel wasn't debt-free because they're owned by Grand Capital. We're debt-free. Airespring is. But they're both very strong companies. The goal is to actually build a new entity that can compete for the mid-enterprise to enterprise customer better. So that's the whole goal. And so we will remain 100% channel. That's the other unique thing about us. We will be the largest 100% channel technology provider in the country. So I'll stop there.
Great. Yeah, no, we have a couple more questions if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah.
Next one is, with the mobility, does the customer have to choose a provider or does it actually find the strongest signal?
So right now, the voice, they have to choose it. Data does it automatically. That will probably change within the next 6 months or so, that even the voice will automatically transition between providers based on where they are. Right now, they manual on voice, they would manually make the change, but that's just an enablement on the phone. The SIM in it is a dual eSIM.
Okay, great. And what are some discovery questions for mobile?
Who's managing your mobile services right now? It's one of the biggest things we see, and here's why that's important. Most IT departments, even in larger companies, don't want to have anything to do with mobile phone devices or management. They don't know much about it. They don't like it. They just don't. And so typically, even in larger customers, they have some employee that has no training in mobility or wireless carriers at all, just managing it. And it's usually just a mess. And they try to do it in spreadsheets. It's just a whole mess. So the number one question is, who's managing this? If you find that out, that's the first step. If we could reduce your cost, would that help? And it's not just hard cost. Now, I don't think we've had a single case yet where we didn't reduce the actual hard cost as well, the actual MRC per device. But you got to remember all the soft costs that go with it. So those soft costs are mismanagement, or you've got multiple people trying to manage something. Or like I talked about, devices sitting in drawers somewhere that are being paid for month after month after month, that no one even remembers where they are. They're not used. So those are the two biggies. And then just say, listen, would you be open to having a phone call with Airespring to discuss your mobility to see if we can help? And then we handle that. Obviously, you can do a co-selling arrangement, be on the call. We don't want to exclude you, but you don't have to get into doing the sales on that. We fully do that really, really well. Our top channel manager that's in Atlanta, he had never sold any mobility before. So he started selling our mobility last summer. He has won every single customer that he has presented mobility to that accepted a discovery call with our VP of mobility, except for one. And that's not just going against other aggregators like a Mettel. That's including going against Verizon and or AT&T.